example of creating an ordinance to prevent a business. I mean, it's discriminatory.
Well, actually, the
Because
ordinance.
there's a connotation on marijuana that is rapidly changing.
Well, but I think that with the, well, I mean, there might be some restrictive stuff in the ordinance that we can probably fix. I don't think it's a bad thing to have the ordinance in town because to me, if it creates a lot less stir to have the ordinance and have some parameters than to have a person come to town and want to set up the business up.
Yeah.
And then after the person comes in, we'll have to have a moratorium because there will be a group of people who definitely don't want it. We'll have to vote and go through that whole entire process. And then the ordinance will be shaped around, you know, the individual or the clinic rather than trying to be a little bit ahead of the game.
Well, have you been following the Eddington quarry right now? Has anybody been following that?
No, I've been trying not to. I've been trying to follow Clifton.
Because in Eddington right now, if they were to go under Frank's permit, they could, see, Frank's got a permit for a 5-acre pit, quarry already. All you gotta do is go under Frank's permit, and you can open up a 5-acre quarry with blasting and everything, down the regular road. And Hughes probably wants to put a separate road in so they're not riding.
They're also
Right,
going
I'm
for
not
20
keeping track of
acres.
it.
20 acres is what they're
Yes, but I mean, they've already got the permit for the 5-acre one, I mean.
Yeah, I don't really even know how gravel pits work that well, or the quarries work.
Oh,
So anyway, anybody else have any,
Not gonna be
Carol,
here.
anything for you tonight?
No.
Stephanie, you're a select person, now you have anything different from a select person perspective? All right,
John, Eric, I have got one thing. And I bring this up now, not waiting till the next meeting to discuss this, but is it possible to Skype your acoustical engineer and have him talk to anybody who is in the audience as to?
I don't know, I gotta look up Skype too, because I tried to hook up Skype on one of my other computers and the services have changed, I think you have to buy it now.
yes, you do.
Yeah, you can't, there's no free Skype anymore, is there? Right, that's because Microsoft got it, that's the problem with this computer, it's Microsoft. But
So
anyway.
how much do you suppose that would cost? Any idea?
Well, I don't know, you can talk to him and see what time he has, I think we can hook it up with, I think there's like Google Places, or there's some sort of functionality inside of Google that I've used to do online conferencing, and there's other things that I think are free services out there, I think we should look them up. But yeah, I knew when Skype was bought by Microsoft eventually that the good deal would go away, and it has.
Well, what about doing it up at the Holbrook School instead of here, depending on how many people are here?
I know, but I have no idea how many people will show up.
I understand. We didn't last time either, and
Well, I knew a lot of people were gonna show up for your hearing. I knew that well in advance. This one, you know, what can happen is, we could do the first one, because that's the other reason why I have 2 hearings. Okay, we only actually are required to have 1 hearing, and actually there's a little bit of space in there. In the worst case scenario, we could actually have a 3rd hearing if we absolutely had to, because I made enough buffer schedule to accommodate that. But if the first hearing, for whatever reason, indicates that we need to have a bigger space for the 2nd hearing, then we can make those phone calls and do it for the 2nd hearing. I just would rather have it here for the first time and then go there. Bruce, you can check his schedule and we can look at different types of.
Yeah, and I'm also wondering if that won't be a bit more confusing there as well.
I think we should focus on the ordinance.
well, all right.
So, how far out from April 2nd will that document be available?
Which document?
The one we're having the hearing on.
Oh, what I'll try to do is, in the next week, it still isn't gonna be a final document, it's not gonna be a final document until after all the hearings. Okay, but I'll try to make it a easier to read document, you know, before then. I'll work on the sound part and then get it organized in a way.
I think what will make it partially easy, those sections that we just moved to number 6, and all the definitions, if you just clean those out, it makes it a lot easier to read.
I'll make sure that there's,
Throw printed a lot of paper in the bill when you're printing it.
That's what I thought.
I'll make sure that there is
I forget it had 3
version
words.
of it,
All deleted.
so that the average person can understand it, okay, because that's actually what is more to the point of what's gonna be, not really
Right.
what was isn't really as important as, you know, what's gonna be. There's a couple cases in some of the other sections, but the sound section in particular is probably more important for what's proposed than, you know, what was, because there's a lot of people who didn't like what was anyway, so it's kind of not as important, in my view. The only parts that are significant that are probably going to be important to a couple people are, you know, the removal of iso contours, because it can't be done. And the other one is the DBA, DBC, because that's for gas turbines. Okay, it wasn't designed standard for wind turbines. So those things are probably not going to show up. But the other stuff, as far as the distances, the setbacks, the decibel parameters or whatever, there'll be some, you know, proposals in there, and then we can talk about other alternatives, and people should come in, you know, and say, I think it should be this, and this is the following reason why, et cetera, or I like this, I don't like that. That would be good.
I'd love to see some scientific data that relates to distances beyond 4,000 feet or at 4,000 feet. from some
Well, that's what they've been providing, and they're saying,
Sound engineers.
well, a lot of these documents are from sound engineers, Bill. Just that we're,
Were there DBA levels in there, or was it just anecdotal, and I don't like using that word, but was it just from people that,
there's a variety of, if you look through that whole website, there's a variety of opinions, pro and con, just like the ones I posted today. One that says studies show it's no big deal, and then other studies that show the exact opposite, okay? So it's definitely, at the end of the day, it's gonna be a judgment call. I mean, there is no exact fact. And what Jessica's perspective, as I'm hearing her, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm trying to synthesize this. Jessica's perspective is, since there's no known fact, you know, do the absolute thing that's the most extreme to absolutely ensure, from her perspective, safety. Is that right? That's what you're saying.
Err on the side
You
of
know,
caution.
and you're saying, you know, it should be at the property lines, but you're not okay with sound. You want some distance.
I want both. I mean, I do think we should have a sound limit, but I'm both. I'm also concerned about the property value, you know.
Have you read some of the studies on property values showing that leading up to the building of a wind turbine facility, the property values do drop, and that within 5 years afterwards, they come right back up?
I'm not concerned about selling my house value-wise. I'm concerned about me enjoying my land, that kind of value.
Right. That's what she's saying.
Okay.
All right.
You know, to me, and it's a
All right.
personal opinion.
We've batted this topic around enough tonight. I'm tired. We've been here for an hour, 2.5 hours, and this computer's frosted me at the coming in. I'm still a little annoyed that we couldn't just plug and play.
Just hit the help on the menu and say, how do I switch to
Yeah, I
chat
think
to?
we're going to do that. It'll make it a lot easier to navigate. We're all done here. We just need to pick up all this stuff. And I'm going to make a list of things. Maybe you can work with the IT person to look over and see if we can just figure it out. So we can.
Monty, take that issue of working with this.
I told you in Florida.
Enough to be here, okay, guys?
I told you in Florida.
How much your jacket?
Now just going on.
Hey, it's up here on the,
And you know what, next Wednesday is Nate's birthday.
I'll be here.
I'm not
no, I'm not.
Not your oldest
It's
one.
just, it's.
My little one. And it's also basketball night, so it's the last basketball next Wednesday.
We're supposed to do
What? Basketball
I
next Wednesday?
just got broken
What?
down in the team.
Because something's going
Yeah,
on.
it's supposed to be.
Really? I didn't know that.
No, were you okay?
You're not just
You were red. Your eyes were awful red.
I literally, I don't look at my goal and walk towards it. I don't see what's around
And I
me.
think it's in the newsletter.
Okay, well, I haven't read that yet either.
It was just like, oh, that big ball? Yes, yes.
I won't give it, try to beat it outside.
Oh,
I don't know
girl.
if that was second or it was
Well,
just
that's good to
the
know.
old
So you
post
rather
grade.
run
I don't know
into
when you were
Actually polyester and.
I knew you were there. God, I looked at you and your eyes were beet red. Then I looked and you were gone.